Holla ballers, what's going on? It's Preacher. You guys requested it, and this week is going to be Hunter Week. Well, I say week, it can run into next week sometimes. Oh well, we're getting stuff done. We're going to be looking at Hunters today, and specifically we're going to look at the survival spec, but of course we're going to do an overall view of what the changes have been to the Hunters in Mists of Pandaria. What can you guys expect to see once that big patch rolls out, probably just before Mists of Pandaria, we get all our talent updates. And don't panic! We've got everything you need to know right here. We're going to jump into it now. Of course, the guides for next week will go up on preachgaming.com in the next couple of days, which classes are going to be featured after the Hunters. But all in all, let's get started. So, we're obviously playing the Hunter today. And we're going to kick off with Survival. Survival, overall, I've done some gameplay with it. It's not changed a great deal, which is actually really cool. Lots of people love Survival in the current gameplay of Cataclysm. They really, really enjoy it. And I don't blame them at all, because Survival is fun as hell. Holy cow, it's fun as hell. I absolutely love it. It's a fantastic spec, really enjoyable, and it's one of those specs where you can just enjoy the game. And I really appreciate any spec like that puts out competitive damage, sometimes really high damage, and we can just literally chill and watch the entire game unfold, because the rotation or the priority system isn't overly complex. There isn't stuff we need to be watching for all the damn time. It's just a nice, enjoyable spec. Very, very well designed. Really love it. So as you can see, Explosive Shot is still made it. Explosive Shot is in for Survival. Cobra Shot is your standard shot. I just want to point out that now no longer will you have both Cobra Shot and Steady Shot. Steady Shot comes with the Marksman specs. Survivals get Cobra Shot. So we will not be seeing those characters and players who run around pressing Steady Shot when they're playing Survival and all that good stuff. It literally just comes with the spec. Black Arrow has remained. We've still got Black Arrow as our big cooldown. 24-second cooldown. Keeping that on cooldown all the time to proc our Lock and Load. Lock and Load has remained in the game as well. And we've got Trap Mastery. Reduce the cooldown of all traps and Black Arrow by 6 seconds. And provides additional benefits to each trap. Ice Trap and Freezing Trap increase the duration by 30%. Explosive Trap and Black Arrow increase their periodic damage by 30%. And Snake Trap gives you more snakes. I'm fucking sick of these motherfucking snakes in my motherfucking game. Damn straight. We got our Snake Trap as well. Very, very cool. So we're going to look at our talents very, very briefly. I'm going to look at these more in depth now. Instead of doing 3 videos covering the same sort of talents for each one, I'll do a brief overview at the beginning of the next video, just showing what I picked for the Marksman spec. I obviously want to show you all of these talents in action, but in this video I will go in depth on each talent and give you my opinion on them. I'll start with the ones I didn't take for this video, which is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Chimera, very clever Blizzard, not. Reduce the cooldown of Disengage by 10 seconds and the cooldown of Deterrence by 60 seconds. So you can obviously see at level 15 we're going to pick up some sort of defensive capability, some sort of defensive talent. I'm fine with having a defensive skill tree. The first one you get being the defensive one, I would like to see that maybe at level 30, but that's neither the point. Reduce the cooldown of Disengage by 10 seconds and the cooldown of Deterrence by 60 seconds. Fine, flat, boring, not very interesting. Great for PvP, I would imagine. Narrow Escape, when you disengage, and you also activate a web trap, which encases all targets within 8 yards in sticky webs. Sticky, preventing movement for 8 seconds. Pretty cool, actually. Very, very cool. And could set up some nice AoE moments. It's also a nice snare should we need it in PvE moments. I think that's actually pretty cool. I like that talent and very situational as well. Want to keep an eye out on Narrow Escape. I picked Post Haste today. Your disengage frees you from 1 movement impairing effect and increases your movement speed by 60% for 8 seconds. That's fantastic. A 60% movement speed for 8 seconds. We have some sort of business going on in our dungeon. There's some kind of crap going on. We need to get the hell out of there. Not only can we disengage away, but we can also reposition ourselves into an awesome DPS position in the next 8 seconds at rapid speed. Really like the look of Post Haste. At level 30 we get some sort of CC effect. See, a CC effect could be... See, a CC effect? Preach, that's really bad. A CC effect is something I would like to see at level 15, because sometimes while we're leveling, not so much in the current game for sure, we can run into situations where we need to have an interrupt, we need to CC a mob because we pulled a rather large pack, perhaps we're killing an elite, something along those lines. I would like to see this at level 15. Binding Shot is pretty cool. You fire a magical projectile, tethering the enemy and any other enemies within 5 yards of the landing arrow for 10 seconds. If targets move 5 yards from the arrow, they are stunned for 5 seconds, 3 seconds in PvP, and will be immune to the effects of Binding Shot for 10 seconds. I really like this one. Very, very cool. In the PvP environment, you're obviously going to have to watch for this binding shot being thrown down. I imagine that the PvPers will still prefer either Wyvernsting or silencing shot, however. But overall, we get this effect of a nice AoE CC. Very, very cool. Mix that with narrow escape. We can pull off some pretty nasty combos with narrow escape and binding shot. That's for damn sure. Wyvernsting is still in the game. A stinging shot that puts the target to sleep for 30 seconds. Any damage will cancel the effect. When the target wakes up, the sting causes 3,309 nature damage over 6 seconds. Only one sting per hunter can be active at a target at a time. So we got a nice sleep CC there. Nothing unusual. Our little version of a sheep there. Very, very cool. And of course, silencing shot, a shot that silences the target and interrupts spell casting for 3 seconds. Nothing more needs to be said on that. For a PvE player in a 5-man dungeon, which I'm going to be running for you guys, silencing shot is obviously where I want to be. I love interrupting. I absolutely love it. It makes us total ballers. As you know, in most of our 5-mans, nobody ever interrupts. A baller always interrupts. Absolutely. Really like it. Level 45, we picked some sort of, again, a defensive cooldown, this time involving our healing and healing on us. We get Exhilaration, instantly heals you for 30% of your pet, or, instantly heals you for 30% and your pet for 100% of the total health. If people are beating on your pet and you're looking a bit ropey, Exhilaration is a lovely heal. 30% is going to be a pretty huge heal when we look at the size of health bars in Mists of Pandaria. They're going to get really, really large. We're going to see 70-80k heals out of that, no big deal whatsoever. And of course, healing our pet up. Great little PvP talent. Our pet's about to die, we don't want that. Exhilaration brings him back to 100% health, 2-minute cooldown. Very, very cool. Aspect of the Iron Hawk. This is the one I picked up today. The Hunter takes on the aspect of an Iron Hawk, increasing ranged attack power by 10% and reducing all damage taken by 15%. Only one target can have only one aspect can be active at a time. It replaces your aspect of the Hawk. A passive 15% damage reduction. So cool. There it is. I have it on right there. Aspects of the Iron Hawk. Damage taken is just flatly reduced by 15% all the time. Absolutely love it. I love damage reduction more than self-healing. It's so much more important to be able to reduce the damage you take rather than just increase the healing on you. Really like aspects of the Iron Hawk. Overall, no matter what the hell is going on, I'm just taking 15% less damage, boys. Come at me, bro. Come at me. And then we've got Spirit Bond. While your pet is active, you and your pet will regenerate 2% of their total health every 2 seconds. So if we have a fight maybe where there's just constant burning AoE damage all the time, the healers are just having to keep us up constantly. 2% isn't a great deal, that is for damn sure. We know that 2% is not a lot, and it's going to take every 2 seconds. It's not a huge regeneration by any means, but it is always there. I think compare that to aspects of the Iron Hawk, I would rather take a flat 15% damage reduction than heal myself for 2% every 2 seconds. This Spirit Bond feels a little bit weak. I've got to be said, feels a little bit weak. At level 60, we get some sort of DPS cooldown. Thrill of the Hunt. You have a 15% chance when you fire a ranged attack that costs focus or kill command to cause your next ranged attack that costs focus or kill command to be free. Now, for survival, I'm not a huge fan of this because we don't have a focus issue as survival. But for marksman, for damn sure, and beast mastery could be very cool to fire in some other shots. We tend to, with survival, to be focusing on our explosive shot and our black arrow, and we slide in some arcane shots whenever it's possible. Thrill of the Hunt feels a little bit weak for survival. I could be wrong. I'm always going to tell you guys I'm not always 100% correct, but it feels like it's a little bit weak for survival. I certainly think this might be preferable towards marksmanship for sure. Our aim shot costs a ton of focus. Free aim shots, always cool. And free kill commands, lovely jubbly. Kill command, as we know, hits like a truck. It is like a stormtrooper coming into your face. And I'll leave it there. Readiness. We know what readiness is. When activated, this ability immediately finishes the cooldown of all hunter abilities with a base cooldown that is less than 6 minutes. Again, a little bit weak for survival, I think, as rapid fire doesn't always generally help us a great deal with survival. It's all about making sure we keep our explosive shots and our black arrows on cooldown. Resetting things like rapid fire for us, and also mixing in things like bloodlust. We tend to have rules with survival like do not use rapid fire while you're under the effects of bloodlust. Don't do this, don't do that. It doesn't benefit us at all. So again, readiness was never a huge fan of, and for survival spec anyway, so I'm happy that's not there. Pretty cool. I prefer Fervor. Instant restores 50 focus to you and your pet. Do we get into those weird situations where lock and load just procs at the exact wrong time? We haven't been able to fire off a Cobra shot in time. Our focus is looking a little bit weak for that third explosive shot. Fervor, just picking up the slack there, just making sure we have a ton more focus, and we can always keep that explosive shot on cooldown. Love Fervor for survival. Readiness is probably going to go with the aim shot for the extra rapid fires, and Thrill of the Hunt, probably towards BM, maybe Marksman as well, in my opinion, okay? I can quite happily see some people raging in the comments, but that's my opinion on it. At level 75, we get some weird DPS cooldowns, and I'm going to try each individual one as we go through the 3 specs and the gameplay. Murder of Crows summons a flock of crows to attack your target over the next 30 seconds. If used on a target below 20% health, the cooldown is reduced to 15 seconds from 1 minute. So we get this lovely spammable attack. Very, very cool. We can also probably mix that in with Thrill of the Hunt, as it is going to cost us a lot of focus. It's 60 focus. That is a ton of focus. So we're hoping to see some huge damage out of a Murder of Crows, and hopefully it's got a badass graphic to go with it. I'll try that out probably in the BM section. Dire Beast summons a powerful wild beast to attack your target for 15 seconds. Each time the beast deals damage, you will gain 5 focus. Very cool for marksmanship, I would imagine, for the Dire Beast. To firing off a ton of focus, a lot of aim shots, all good stuff. Really like it. I'm going to try that one out in the marksman. Notice it does not cost focus. It generates you focus. Very, very cool. Doesn't cost anything. 30-second cooldown. Can use it a hell of a lot to get a lot more focus back. I went with Lynx Rush. Your pet rapidly charges from target to target, attacking 9 times over 4 seconds, dealing its normal attack damage to each target. The pet must be within 10 yards of the target to Lynx Rush. Now, you might be thinking instantly, Preacher, shouldn't that be a BM talent? Notice it is, of course, based on the fact that it will do the normal damage, but it will attack very, very quickly. It could be more beneficial to BM. I kind of want to try out Murder of Crows with BM, considering the extra focus costs, that kind of stuff. I mixed it in with Thrill of the Hunt. So for this one, I'm going to try Lynx Rush. I'm just going to give Lynx Rush a bash. What do we get at level 90? Actually, some very, very cool stuff, actually. Blizzard has done well with the level 90 talents for the Hunters. I think so. We get Glaive Toss. You hurl 2 glaives towards a target, each dealing nearly 1,000 damage to each enemy struck and reducing their movement speed by 30% for 3 seconds. The primary target will take 8 times as much damage from each strike. The glaives will return back to you, damaging and snaring targets again as they return. So if we've got multiple targets or even a single target, very, very cool little ability. Going to fire off these glaives. We're going to look like a predator, essentially, when he pulls out his disc of death and throws it at people, chopping them in half. If you've not seen Predator yet, you should. You should watch Predator 1, you should watch Predator 2, and then you should never watch any film with the Predator title in it ever again, because they will, in fact, ruin it for you. Predator 1 and 2, Arnold, ooh, and Danny Glover, fuck yeah. Power Shot. You wind up a powerful shot. Now notice that when it says wind up, it's nearly a 3-second cast. It's on a 1-minute cooldown, which deals 400% weapon damage to the target and 100% weapon damage to all enemies in between you and the target. Enemies hit by Power Shot are also knocked back. I don't like the knockback. I'll have to check the glyphs on whether the knockback can be removed. I don't like knockbacks, especially from DPSs. It's very, very annoying. And when Power Shot needs to have mobs lined up. So you're essentially Indiana Jonesing people. If you've never seen Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade, I want to say, when he shoots through 6 or 7 people in a row and the big one takes the big damage and he shoots all the way through all the people in a nice big line, that's what you're going to be doing with Power Shot. You're going to wind up this shot, try and position yourself so there's mobs in between you and the main target, and you're going to rally right the way through them like a railgun. Very, very cool. And then we get Barrage, or Barrage, as some as you try to put it, but we call it Barrage. Rapidly fire a spray of shots forward for 2.79 seconds, dealing a total of 400% weapon damage to the enemy target and an average of 100% weapon damage to each other enemy in front of you. So we get like a spray, very much like Star Wars The Old Republic. The Bounty Hunters had a very similar ability. We're going to get this Barrage ability, which is just going to spray everything in front of us with rapid shots. Hopefully it looks very, very cool. When we get some level 90 pre-mades, I'll be sure to check that one out. Very, very cool. So those are your abilities, those are your talent changes, and those are your choices. Obviously, I went with Lynx Rush, Fervor, Aspects of the Ironhawk, Silencer Shot, and Post Haste for this video. I will be checking out the other ones in the other videos. Let's check out glyphs. Some cool glyphs in here, and some weak ones for damn sure. I'm going to run through them all. Again, this is going to be the main talent video for the Hunters. Glyph of Animal Bond. While your pet is active, all healing done to you and your pet is increased by 10%. Pretty cool. I like that, and I actually took that one. I thought it was a very cool little ability. So not only do I have a flat 15% damage reduction, I also increase the amount of healing I take. Cool as. Your camouflage ability now provides stealth even when moving, but your movement speed while camouflaged is reduced by 50%. I'll let you make your own minds up on that. That seems more like a PvPer's choice for me. Chimera Shot for the marksman. Increase the healing you receive from Chimera Shot by an additional 2% of your maximum health. Neither here nor there for me, really. Deterrence. Increase the damage reduction granted by Deterrence by 20%. Very cool. Disengage. This I just want to talk a little bit more about Deterrence. If we've got some mad soaking ability we need to do with Deterrence up, just reducing that damage even further is always cool. 20% is a huge number when we start talking about the millions of damage some of these bosses deal out on their huge I kill you abilities that need soaking. Disengage. Increase the distance you travel while disengaged. Cool. Distracting Shot. Your Distracting Shot now distracts the target to attack your pet instead of you. How awesome is this glyph for leveling? You will be picking this up. You need to get some big AoE done. You've got your ape out, or your turtle, or your gorilla, whatever it might be, and you want to start adding more and more pets to... You want to add more and more targets to your pet's tanking. Distracting Shot now just going to send it over to the pet. Brilliant little ability. Endless Wrath. While Bestial Wrath is active, your pet cannot be killed but can still be damaged. Very cool. So if we're in a tight situation, somebody's gangstering our pet and we have BM, I can just pop Bestial Wrath, he ain't gonna die, and then right at the end of it I can pop a big heal on him. Oh, what's up? You mad, bro? You mad? I bet you will be. Explosive Trap. Oh, I don't like this one. Your Explosive Trap no longer deals damage, instead knocking enemies back from the trap when it explodes. Ah, go away. Freezing Trap. When your Freezing Trap breaks, the victim's movement speed is reduced by 70% for 4 seconds. You guys are going to be mad with hunters in the arena. That is for damn sure. Ice Trap. Got a new graphic. Notice. Ooh. Increase the radius effect from your Ice Trap by 2 yards. Very cool if you're slightly wonky on your aim with your Ice Trap, using your trap launcher and trying to throw it out there. Sometimes that can go a little bit awry. Icy Solace. Your Freezing Trap also removes all damage over time effects from the target. You will want that for your CC. Very, very cool. This one is brilliant. I wish this glyph was renamed to the Glyph of Laziness. Glyph of Mark for Death. Your Arcane Shot, Chimera Shot, Kill Command, and Explosive Shot abilities automatically apply Hunter's Mark. Oh, I took that. Of course I did. I hate having to remark during trash. Now I can just essentially just fire my abilities. He will be Hunter's Marked. Very cool. We're obviously going to be Hunter's Marking bosses before we pull. But still, this is awesome. Master's Call. Increase the duration of Master's Call by 4 seconds. We're going to look at that later. Men Pet. Gives your Men Pet ability a 50% chance to cleanse one curse, disease, magic, or poison effect from your target each tick. Very situational at best. Glyph of Mending. Increase the total amount of healing done by your Men Pet ability by 60%. Very cool if we've got our pet in serious trouble. Mirrored Blades. When you're attacked by a spell while in Deterrence, you have a 100% chance to reflect it back at the attacker. So some Gimboid is attacking a Deterrence hunter. He's like, I'm going to spellcast you, bro. Not anymore. I can literally just reflect that spell back at you. Ha ha ha, in your face. Glyph of Misdirect. When you use Misdirect on your pet, the cooldown of Misdirection is reset, not reduced in time. Very, very cool for leveling as well. Notice that one. It's just instantly reset. We can constantly misdirect to our pet now. Lovely little glyph. Glyph of No Escape. Increase the range, critical strike chance of all your attacks on targets affected by your Freezing Trap by 6%. Oh, the PvPers are having fun. Glyph of Pathfinding. This was cool. Increase the speed bonus of your aspects of the cheetah and aspects of the pack by 8%. And increase the speed while mounted by 10%. Picking that up for leveling is just godly. We love increased mount speed when we're getting from mob to mob. Glyph of Scattershot. Increase the range by 3 yards. It's boring. Scattering. Your Scattershot also removes all damage over time effects, similar to the other ones. Snake Trap. Snakes from your Snake Trap take 90% reduced area of effects attacks, so we can't just be AoE down. As we see, we pop a lot of Snake Traps in the arena, etc., and then suddenly there's an Arcane Explosion or a Thunderclap and all your snakes die. We don't like that. Glyph of Trank Shot. Your Trank Shot no longer costs focus, so if we do have to get rid of a frenzy effect on our bosses, we don't have to suffer DPS loss anything more than a global cooldown. Very, very cool. And Glyph of Black Ice, which we haven't got in the normal beta logins. While you move through the area, you're affected by Ice Trap and you gain 50% movement speed. Can you imagine how OP this is going to be? I imagine the PvP is going to have a nightmare picking their glyph choices. The fun glyphs aren't that fun. You've got glyphs aspect of the cheetah, so no longer if you have aspects of the cheetah on or aspects of the pack, said your effect is cancelled. It doesn't actually affect aspects of the pack. I just noticed that. I thought it did. Your aspects of the cheetah no longer causes you to be dazed when struck. Instead, the effect is just cancelled. Very cool. Glyph of Aspects of the Pack to increase the range of aspects of the pack by 15 yards. Aspects, you get a cool graphic when you spawn your aspects. I picked that up, so let's see if that actually works. Let's go for the fox. Oh, look, a tiny little fox. Yay! Very cool. Lovely jubbly. Back to the Ironhawk, like a box. Lesser proportions, your pet goes smaller. Glyph of Fireworks teaches you a new ability that shoots fireworks. Just for fun, guys. Just for fun. Glyph of Stampede, not yet implemented. Your Stampede no longer summons pets from your stable. Instead, just uses copies of your current pet. So, whatever. Glyph of Tame Beast, reduce the cast time. Boring. Glyph of Aspect of the Beast, teach you the ability Aspect of the Beast. The hunter takes on the aspect of a beast, becoming untrackable. Very interesting. Does anybody track hunters anymore? I don't think so. You'll miss this. I love this. This is like the glyph of I'm doing stuff for you. Because how many times do we do guides on my channel and I say to you, no one will notice that you are misdirecting them constantly. No one will notice that you're interrupting constantly, or that you're CCing, or that you're doing garrots, whatever it might be. Glyphs like this are trying to change that. It causes your misdirect target to appear larger. And the guy will be going, why do I get big all the time? Well, quite frankly, it's because I'm MDing you like an absolute gangster, and now you know it. Glyph of Fetch teaches your ability Fetch. Fine. And Glyph of Marking, your Hunter's Mark ability now places a bullseye on your target instead of its usual visual. Very, very cool. Those are the talent changes. A quick overview in the spellbook. Nothing much has changed for survival. I don't think there's even much I want to point out for you here. Your kill shot is still there. You still get kill shot, which is cool. Everything else here is normal. I believe there's nothing much for me to talk about here. You've got Master's Call there. Your pet attempts to remove all route and movement impairing effects. I don't use that in PvE, really. Other than that, Trap Launcher is still in. Instant no longer costs focus. Very cool. And all your traps still remain. Just a new graphic on Ice Trap. Other than that, everything still remains the same. We've still got Serpent Spread. So when we multi-shot, I'll show you quickly just to prove it. When we multi-shot, everything still gets our Serpent Sting. You can see it there. Cool as ice. Absolutely love it. And you still get Viper Venom. You gain 3 focus each time your Serpent Sting deals damage. This effect can only occur every 3 seconds. I will point out, let me start targeting this, is focus seems much more enjoyable on the beta realms at the moment than it does on the live servers. You can see I'm really getting overflooded with focus on a lot of occasions. Getting your focus. Oh, there we go. So I furthered. There was the exact situation I was talking about. Is our lock and load procs just as we couldn't fire off a Cobra shot. But you can see I'm instantly back to back to full focus very, very quickly. Are currently on the beta realms. We're not really struggling for focus whatsoever. 1 Cobra shot is in fact going to allow me to explosive shot. And usually it takes 2 on the Cataclysm. Sometimes you can be left a little bit in the dark. But that's okay. I'm not bothered about that. It's a few more arcane shots to throw in. We're not struggling for focus, which is why I chose these specific talents. The last thing we want to talk about is pet talents. I need to get back to it. Here. Specialization Pet. Okay. No longer do we have a pet talent tree. That has just been flat out removed, guys. Our pet talent trees have been completely removed. Now we just have the 3 things. We have the Tenacity Tank one, which will come with all your tank spec stuff. You get Blood of the Rhino, Charge, Last Stand, Thunderstomp, and Great Stamina. Notice now you have some movement ability tied into each of these 3. You can't have both. You can't have Charge, and you can't have dash and bow speed at the same time. So I picked Ferocity for this one, which gives me Rabid, increase your pet's attack power by 50% for 20 seconds. Heart of the Phoenix, should he die, I can instantly bring him back. Dash and Spiked Collar. These stuff are all in the game at the moment, but you no longer have to go through the talent trees, because on the talent trees on Cataclysm, we couldn't actually get every single talent we wanted. So instead they've just dropped it down to this. You don't have to spec it anymore. You just pick it, and Cunning picks up Roar of Sacrifice for a little bit of defensive stuff. You get Bullheaded, removes all movement impairing effects and effects which cause loss of control of your pet again. We get Cornered. When at less than 35% health, the pet does 50% more damage and a 60% reduced chance to be critically hit. Dash. This is like a PvP, PvE, tank. Very easy. PvE DPS, tank, and of course PvP. That's exactly what it looks like to me. You've got Roar of Sacrifice, Bullheaded, and Cornered in that one. Very, very simple, and I'm happy that it's that simple. Some people really struggle with setting their pets up properly. Respecking from BM to other talents really screwed up your pets sometimes, and people forgot to place the talents. All that good stuff has just been simplified. More than happy. So, I'm going to jump into the dungeon now and see exactly how survival is playing out, guys. Take it easy.